this is to the pro-lifers out there on YouTube. Just have a couple things to say. And the reason I have to say these things is because I find that you guys are hypocrites. Especially John McCain, okay? And the reason I find you guys to be hypocrites is because you find embryonic stem cells to be human when they're in fact cells, okay? Second of all, I find you guys to be hypocrites because you think that death is okay once the baby's out of the womb, okay? Once the baby's gone through and the mother's had the baby, it's okay not to have health care for that child. So if the child doesn't make it because they didn't have health care, because of John McCain voting against S-chip, okay? Now, just let me finish before you get all ticked off and pissed. John McCain voted against S-chip, right? George Bush vetoed it, okay? That's a hypocrite. Because you're not giving the child the health care it needs to survive and get its vaccinations to be taken care of and, you know, properly raised with all their vaccines and everything else, so they don't get everything that a normal child wouldn't get, okay? Second of all, you're pro-war, most of you, okay? You say, oh, well, it's a fact of life. Well, then why wouldn't it be a fact of life for you to have an abortion? Your body, a lot of women, their body naturally has an abortion on its own. It's called miscarriage. You ever heard of that? I have. Okay. The other thing is so if you think war is okay, and it's a fact of life, and it's okay to kill innocent babies over there in Iraq, and it's okay to kill innocent men and women over there in Iraq, because they aren't in a woman's stomach. That makes you a hypocrite. Sorry. If you think the death penalty is okay, but it's not okay to get an abortion, even though the baby doesn't feel anything in the first trimester, which abortions aren't performed after the first trimester, just so y'all know that. That's fact. That makes you a hypocrite if you think the death penalty is okay. Because I don't. I'm against it. The other thing is don't ever bring up any type of violence, rape, murder, as trying to compare that to having an abortion. Because you can't. Okay? There's no comparing the two. Having an abortion at the first trimester, child would never have known it. Never be here. Never be alive. Never feel it. Doesn't have a conscience. Doesn't have a brain. Okay? And that is fact. Now, I know that y'all think you know. But victims of violence do know. As me, I was a victim of violence. A victim of rape. But do you give a shit? No. All you care about is trying to prove your point. And using those terms as something to prove your point as. Which is inappropriate, first off. You don't know what people have been through and why they're pro-choice, do you? In fact, I was raised in a pro-life house. But I am pro-choice because of what happened to me. I was 12 years old when it happened. Should I have been made to carry a child at 12? No. Never. Should a 9-year-old child should a 9-year-old child have to carry another child at 9? No. Never. And I'm saying this as a victim of violence myself, and a victim of rape myself. So don't you go out there preaching these things, thinking that you know what's best for other women out there, just because you're pro-life. Because you don't. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what other people who are pro-life have been through, or pro-choice have been through. Not pro-life, sorry. Misspoke. You have your reasons for being pro-life, and that's fine. My mother is pro-life, and it has to do with her religion, which is fine. I have nothing against her. She's allowed to be pro-life. But she understands exactly why I'm pro-choice. And she is never against it. And she will never be against it. Because she would never have wanted me to carry a child at 12 years old. She would never argue against that. You want to know why? Because I was a victim of violence and I was her daughter. Okay? So maybe you should stop single-mindedly thinking and start thinking about the world around you. And stop thinking that people who are pro-choice are naive. Because we're not. We're tired of seeing hypocritical thinking. We're tired of seeing people who think that they know more than somebody who may have been through that situation. Because they don't. You will never know what I went through as a 12-year-old child. You will never know the anguish that it's like. Now, it's true. Some people who have been a victim of violence, of rape, have decided to be pro-life. But that is their decision. But there are many that are pro-choice. And I am one of the many. And my family stands behind me, even though they are pro-life. You know why? Because they're not single-minded. So, when you sit out there and you're on YouTube and you think that it's okay to preach about rape, murder, and violence, and that you should go and, oh, well, we should go and do that because they could harm us again. You know, that's not the point. There's no point in even bringing that up. You want to know why? The only time a person can bring that up is if they were a victim themselves. You are not allowed unless you were a victim. I'm sorry. Just not allowed. You act as if, you know, you're not a hypocrite, but you're pro-death and pro-war. So, and you're against socialized medicine and against everything that would help people stay alive longer and live a better life. And so you're not against this war, but you know those are somebody's children out there fighting this war. That's somebody's child. Those Iraqi children are somebody's child that have been killed. Those Iraqi men and women are somebody's child. So once they're out of the womb, it's no big deal. But it's a big deal once they're in. Once the woman is inseminated and an embryo starts to form. It's a big deal then. What about the child afterwards? You don't care about that? Because John McCain certainly doesn't. If you've ever looked at his voting record, you would know. He doesn't care about the education system. He doesn't want our children educated. He doesn't care about women getting yearly checkups and making sure they don't get cancer. So these children may not have a mother if they can't get these yearly cancer screenings. But do you care? No. You just call people who are pro-choice murderers when you know nothing about them. So maybe next time you should try taking a look and stepping into somebody else's shoes before you decide that you're going to call somebody a murderer because they're pro-choice. I could call you a murderer too because you're for this war or because you're for the death penalty. But you know what? What would be the point? There is no point. Everybody is different, everybody is unique, and everybody's going to have a different opinion on the topic. Nobody's ever going to be the same. You understand? Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and so are you, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. I happen to be pro-choice. So don't bag on me because you're pro-life and you can't handle the real truth that you're a hypocrite. Okay? And don't ever bring up any victims of violence because it's not your place. You understand? Thank you, and goodbye.